we're going to chat to, former Titan and Eel and player transition manager for the RLP, Keegan Hipgrave. Welcome to the summer run home.
Hey, lads. How we going?
Excellent, Keegan. You're obviously doing some great things with RLPA. I want to chat about that a little bit later, but I want to first of all ask, are you going around in the Nines tournament this weekend? Are you pulling on the boots?
I'm not going to be pulling up the boots, unfortunately. I'll be player manager. The boys were actually getting into me in the WhatsApp chat. They're like, mate, we got to get you in here. I was like, man, I don't think I've got that in me anymore. I've had too many head knocks in my career. So, mate, my role is oranges and water. So the boys will be very well hydrated.
Yeah, I'm worried about the water component because we've been speaking to a few players. We had Tyrone Peachy on Monday on the show, and then Corbin Sims yesterday. And the scope, Justin Horry, he's going to be part of the team. He was alluding to some sort of fishing trip on the Friday where there'll be the only water will be the fish that are coming out of it. Everything else is going to be beer. So I'm very, very worried about the guys. So just make sure they keep hydrated. Can you, Keegs?
Mate, that'll be a big part of my responsibility is making sure that there will be waters there for the boys. So they're rocking up Saturday morning feeling well hydrated and refreshed. But I think it'll be a good chance to catch up and connect before the weekend.
Mate, I'm glad when you said you're the player manager, I thought I didn't realise it was managing the bench and that sort of stuff. I thought you were talking like more like contracts. A player manager. Yeah, contracts. That's what you were going to drink 10% of everyone's beers and,
Well, mate, I think our celebrations is going to be on the Saturday afternoon once we go through the final series, mate. I'm quietly confident. We were known as the fossils last year. We had a lot of old boys we pulled together, but mate, I'm pumped with this with the team that we put together this year. So I reckon it'll be I reckon we're the underdogs.
Well,
I reckon we're going to go through.
Tommy Simon's come out and said yesterday or the day before that he's very, very confident because he alluded to the same thing. The last year was sort of a sort of made up side of just old middle forwards who couldn't really cut it. But they've recruited strongly, or you've recruited strongly. You got Matty Moylan running around, the Peach as well. And I saw Scope's game plan. It's literally just get the ball to Moiser and the Peach and let them do their thing. Is that basically it?
Well, I think that's smart, mate. I think we've got to play to our strength. And the two boys, I was with Peach a couple of days ago, and he was saying, he's like, mate, don't underestimate the partnership that me and Moiser have. I said, he's like, that's a beautiful thing we got. So, mate, I reckon the boys will go all right.
Who is the architect of this side? Are you the man that put this side together? You sat down and went, who can we recruit, or is that someone else's design?
We had a whole round table of recruiters at the very start of it, thinking who's the best of the best, and mate, we went out all white to grab them, mate. So it was definitely a team effort. But yeah, Tommy and I, we definitely put the players together for sure.
I've been hearing sort of underhand cash deals and everything, some negotiations around Lazy Susan. It's very much a Gus Gould style operation of recruitment, this side. They're taking it very seriously. So with you. I'm with you. And I'm going to be watching. It's obviously on KO as well, so everyone can tune in to watch the tournament. I'm going to be pumped up watching that.
We missed the under the table deals. That definitely didn't fall into our remit. I think we actually lost a couple players due to some under the table offers. But mate, that's okay. That's all right. Some of the boys, they got to do what they got to do.
Mate, you certainly didn't have any influence in the scheduling of the games. I think the first game is Saturday, 8:25 a.m. You're taking on Arthur Beetson Foundation. They're coached by Petro Sivanasina. They've got Preston Campbell, Sean Berrigan. That's a bit of a nightmare at 8:25 a.m., isn't it?
It's tough. Yeah, mate. It's tough on any day, let alone after a nice little connection event on the Friday. So, mate, I think the boys know that. They're across it. So I'll be pushing bed early Friday night and go on Saturday morning. We'll see how well that goes.
Yeah, good luck with that, mate. I'm glad it's you and not me trying to get that job done. Sounds like a very tough one. Yeah. Hey, let's talk about your job with the RLPA because it sounds like a really, really important one. So you become the player transition manager after you retired. So you was it 5 years in the NRL as a player, obviously, and then transitioned into that. And you're now helping other players transition into life after football. Tell us a bit about the role and what that entails, Keegan.
Yeah, the player transition manager piece is a new one. Like we took over everything past player related from the NRL a bit over 12 months ago now. So it's a new program, and we obviously recognise that there was a need for to engage with players once they do leave. So part of the role is catching up with players who retire, who head over to the Super League, or who just don't have a contract. So we catch up with them and let them know essentially everything that they've got access to, whether it's psychological help, medical, education, all those types of things, and kind of just being someone there for them to lean on. We run a bunch of connection events throughout the year. This weekend's a great example of that, of bringing players together, because like as we all know, like once you leave the NRL, you sort of lose that support and you lose that connection with the boys. So putting on fitness sessions into breakfast and, chance for the boys to all come together and play together. Like these are stuff that we really want to lead into. And the feedback from the boys is awesome. Like an event like this is so great because the boys get together, but then off the back of that, we can have some really great offline conversation on what's happening in the employment space or what's happening with their identity piece, or if they are struggling outside of it. These are really organic ways to help promote those conversations. So while it's fun and we'll play some games and we'll have a couple beers, it's also there's method behind the madness. So yeah, it is a good chance to get everyone together for sure.
Now, Keegan, am I right in thinking that this was part of the element that was originally the sticking point in the NRL negotiations, where the RLPA wanted to take over this sort of stuff? Is this what that was?
I'm not sure. It was actually before. So the negotiations was actually before I was enrolled. So off the back of the negotiations, allowed myself and Joey Nullavow and Morgan Tioka to come on board in the past player space. I imagine this is probably one of them. I know from just offline conversations that the RLPA were pushing for things around education and around retirement and around medical. And so I'm sure the past player space was definitely something in there. However, I wasn't involved in the negotiations when they were going through it.
So the 5 key pillars of the program, we've got this in front of us, Keegan: transition, medical, financial, and connection, which you've all sort of touched on. But one of them is also mental fitness, which I know is a bit of a passion of yours. Tell us a bit about the work you're doing in that space, particularly because we know just how important it is.
Yeah, mate, it definitely is a passion project. And to be honest, the mental health and psychology space is probably something that attracted me to the role in particular. Like I'm studying my psychology at the moment. I've got a little mental health and sport podcast, Keegan and Company, where we talk to athletes in the hopes to normalize stigmas around mental health because, they're so influential in the space. But the chance to actually have real, lived experience and make a genuine impact for guys and girls who are transitioning out of professional sport and out of rugby league, like that's a passion. That's a passion for me. Like a big reason why I want to study psychology is to be able to help friends and family first and foremost, but then guys who are coming out and I think I'm lucky where a lot of the guys who are coming out, like they're mates, they're guys who I've played with, there's guys who I knocked around. And even if you don't know someone personally, you sort of have a little bit of a mutual respect because you did play the game together at a similar time. So when I am catching up with these guys, it's a really great chance to catch up and then also work through some stuff that they either might be struggling with or they might just be curious about. So yeah, it's definitely a journey, but I really enjoy what we do. It's obviously super big passion of mine, so I'm keen to lean into it.
Mate, you were a bit modest there calling your podcast a little podcast.
Very humble.
Company.
Yep.
Just got a list of some of the guests you had on last year. So Nathan Cleary, Regan Campbell-Gillard, Jess Fox, Kaylee McEwen, Ruben Cotter, Chad Townsend. Mate, what are the sort of conversations you're having with those guys on the podcast, and where can people find it, more importantly?
Yeah, and I think that's the beautiful thing is that each conversation is different, right? So, we'll have conversations like with Nath was around like fear of other people's opinions when he was going through that stint a couple of years ago about potentially not getting picked in Origin and all the things, and then it might be around like body image or confidence or anxieties and managing those anxieties. I know the Olympians with Kaylee and Jess, that was a big part of their conversations, and so each conversation is different. But like we all know how influential athletes are, right? So like if they can be seen talking about their own vulnerabilities and struggles, then it makes it okay for us, like kind of validates us in a sense. But then what these athletes are doing is that they're also providing really great tools, tips and strategies that they use that we might be able to implement. So that's kind of like I don't know what I'm talking about, mate. I'm just going out there to learn. Like I'm very fortunate in the space where I've got a lot of friends who are influential and are doing cool things in their sport at the moment. And rugby league will always be, I guess, a backbone because that's my background. But man, I'm also interested in, AFL players and Olympians and surfers, like given being on the Gold Coast. So it's a variety of different sports. So yeah, mate, we're on all audio channels, so podcasts and Spotify, but then probably our Instagram and TikTok are probably our biggest in the sense of breaking down clips and giving people these tools. So it's just Keegan and Company. And that's where you can find us.
I can hear it, or everyone can hear it in your voice, just how passionate you are about it. So that's awesome in itself. But I want to know, has it always been a passion of yours, or did it sort of like gain, you sort of gained along the way in your rugby league journey, or was it always? You obviously now doing the degree, obviously doing it as part of your RLPA gig in a work sense now as the podcast too. Is that what you see yourself doing long term?
Yeah, I do see myself doing this long term. Yeah, it was definitely a forefront. I lost one of my good friends to suicide when I was 17. Guy called Regan Grieve. We both got picked in the Australian team. However, he couldn't go overseas, and
lost Keegan there. He's just dropped out. We'll try and get him back on the line. Oh, there he is. I think Are you back with us, Keegan?
Sorry, you got me?
Yeah, got you now, mate. Sorry, you just dropped out. Yep, kick off again.
Yeah, so I was just saying, I guess the reason why I got into it was because I lost a really good friend to suicide, and I didn't want to lose anymore. And when I came into a professional system, it was really old school, and guys probably weren't open to having these types of conversations, and I really wanted to change that. So I got involved with Movember. I've been an ambassador for Movember for the past 8 years, and kind of wanted to be that guy that the teammates can talk to and other mates and family members can talk to, and that sort of just grew to doing fundraisers and events. And then once I was medically retired from footy, I was 24, so I was still pretty young. I thought, well, what's the next 10, 20 years going to look like? And mental health and psychology and being able to help mates was at a forefront. So I thought, you know what, this is something that I really want to lean into. So between the podcast, the study, and my gig as a past player and transition manager with the RLPA, it's like that just ticks every box, So and it's the ability to make genuine change, not just talk about it. Like the feedback that we get from the guys and girls that we sit down and have conversations with the RLPA job, but then also the messages that we get via socials and via emails through the podcast. It's like that's a feel good. Like that's purpose for me, and that's life after footy. And respectfully, like I have way more fun now than when I was playing footy. So it's cool, and that's what I try and push towards guys who are transitioning out. It's just like you can have an incredible career and probably maybe even find something that you love even more than footy once you transition out. So it's an exciting space for everyone, for sure.
Well, Keegan, it sounds like you're doing exactly the sort of work you should be doing, mate, because it's the work that needs to be done, and we need passionate people about it. Now, just on the Nines this weekend, we've just got a text here from Hillstorm Hillary. Just wants to know, is the Nines on any free live streaming like YouTube or Facebook, or is it only on KO? I think it's only on KO, Keegan, but can you promise Hillstorm that if she comes and goes to follows you on Instagram, that she'll get some behind the scenes content from the RLPA side?
Yeah. Follow us on socials at PA Players, RLPA Players. We'll definitely be putting up a bunch of content over the weekend. Obviously the scores and everything, but all the fun little behind the scenes stuff. Maybe not on the Friday, but definitely over the Saturday.
Can I ask? It's not on your team, but I need to see vision of a Viktor Radley halftime speech, because he's coach of the Salty Pigs, I believe, is the team name.
Right, they're some of my dear mates. We had we had Rad's engagement party over the break, which was awesome, and a lot of the pigs were there ripping in. So I was like, are you guys going to take the same approach and get on the piss on the Friday? And they're like, nah, we're dialed in this weekend. I said, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
Oh, I like that, mate. Before we let you go, quickly, you are on the Gold Coast at the moment. Your former side got RCG in the side this year. Tino's back. Gold Coast Titans, are they looking good?
Yeah, mate. All the internal reports from the boys said that everyone's firing. So Desi's had a year under his belt. Boys are leaning in. So I think they're going to go all right. Like what the Titans are like. They got to rip in and they got to do well. So mate, I'm all for it this year.
There we go. The hardest working water boy on the Gold Coast this weekend. Thanks for joining us, Keegan Hipgrave, doing some amazing work in the mental health space with the RLPA. Keep doing good things, and we'll chat to you soon. Thanks for joining the Summer Run Home.
Thanks, lads. Thanks for having me.
There we go. Ripping bloke, Keegan Hipgrave. Don't forget you can join on KO to watch that tournament live. I'll be certainly doing that. But you're listening to the Summer Run Home on SEN. The Hyundai Keys to Summer event is on right now.
You're still here? We'll see more on the Joel and Fletch socials and catch us live on SEN Radio. Because if you don't, you're an A grade. But if you do, you're the absolute Mickey.